The reason why I wanted to start a YouTube channel is mainly because I want to share with you my experience as an international student in Australia, the real experience, so you'll get a better insight. As you can see, there are many videos on YouTube that tell about what it's like to study in Australia. While some of these videos are very fun to watch and make you want to dream and feel what it's like to study in Australia, I found that they are quite biased about this. One thing that stands out to me is that some of these YouTubers seem to glorify the experience, and I became the victim of it as well. So don't worry, you're not alone. They will tell you how great Australia is, how friendly the people are, which most of the time they are, I admit that, and how culturally diverse the people are, among other things. Now, to us, it sounds like heaven, right? Wrong. I'm currently studying as an international student in Australia for around 6 months and counting, and let me tell you that the reality is less glamorous than what they said. For starters, studying here is expensive. The tuition fees alone are extraordinarily high, at least for my standards since I came from Indonesia. As of right now, it cost me $33,000 for my first year study. If I convert it to my currency, it'll be around 330 million rupiahs. And I do believe that a lot of us can't afford that unless you have a full scholarship or came from a wealthy family. Many of you might saw a video or read an article or heard from someone that you can earn money while studying. It is true though, you can earn money while studying, but there's a limit to the number of hours you're allowed to work, which is 40 hours per 2 weeks. As of now, the Australian government allowed international students to work as long as they want, and they will reintroduce the hour work cap, but this time they will raise the limit to 48 hours per 2 weeks. At this point, you might ask me what's the minimum wage in Australia. As of now, the minimum wage is $21 per hour. This is great, right? Well, here's where the problems start. Searching for jobs in Australia is hard, especially if you have no work or volunteer experience back in your home country. I'm thankful that I used to work as a cashier back in Indonesia for around 3 years, so I added that to my resume. But unfortunately, I still didn't manage to find any work here. I've tried multiple methods, like applying through online job seeking websites and handing out resumes around Melbourne, and I got rejected multiple times for no reason at all. Maybe it's just me since some of my friends managed to land a job somewhere, but here comes another problem. Some employers in Australia exploit international students like me to work for them and get paid below the minimum wage. This is illegal, and unfortunately, some of us here did get paid as little as $15 an hour. You can barely get by with that amount of wage here, but they can't complain about it since they need money to survive here. And if they do report the problem to the Home Affairs Department, they might revoke their visa and deport them back to their home countries. This is unfair because they paid a lot of money to study here, and some of them don't come from a wealthy family or earn a scholarship, and they decided to cancel our visa and deport us back just like that. What if we don't know that we got paid below the minimum wage? What if we can't read our employment contract because it's hard for us to understand the words employers use in it? What if we got tricked by these employers and realized it afterwards? We can't even hire a lawyer or consultant because some of us don't know how to do it, and it's expensive. Some students even neglected their studies just to make ends meet. I wonder what Australians think about this though. The next problem is the living expenses. The costs are different depending on where you live and how well you manage your finances. But living in Australia is expensive, at least for my standard. For starters, my rent costs $398 per 2 weeks. For food, I spend around $250 per month. I have an Apple Music subscription fee that costs $7 per month. And I have an e-bike installment payment that costs $319 per 2 weeks because I signed up for Uber Eats and DoorDash since I can't find any part-time job for the last 6 months. In total, I have to spend $1,693 per month. The cost will go down after I finish paying for my e-bike installment payment in about 6 weeks if I'm not wrong. Many international students didn't consider this while they're in Australia, and it puts them under a great financial burden. They have to live frugally to the point where it becomes really extreme. I'm really concerned about this because that kind of lifestyle deteriorates their health and mental well-being. I'm also under a financial burden currently because I didn't calculate my living expenses correctly, and it affects my psyche. I'm currently stressed out right now, and with a mountain of homework I have to do on top of working as a food delivery courier, it's too much for me and I'm starting to feel like a failure. I'm starting to think how nice it will be if I return back to Indonesia and just study there, because at least I can still be with my family and not live here all by myself. The final problem about studying in Australia is that the students aren't as diverse as you might think. Most of the students here came from China, India, and Indonesia. I expected that there will be more students from other parts of the world, and it's a bit sad that it's not like that in reality. But compared to the previous problems, this is very minor for me. This is why I titled this video like that. I don't want you to study in Australia just because your parents said so, your education agent said so, your friends said so, your teacher said so, and even you said so. If you really want to study abroad, you have to consider other countries. There are countries that provide the same quality of education as Australia does at a cheaper price. So if you want to come here, think again. Don't be like me and other international students who have the same experience as well. You have to be very careful. That's all I have to say in this video, and I'll upload a video about my university. There are many things that I want to talk about.